It is the world's boldest experiment, a near mythical city that should never have existed. It is built by ingenuity and precision. In half a century, Dubai rose from a humble fishing village into a global force, building the tallest tower on Earth, carving islands visible from space, and forging a financial hub that rivals cities centuries older. And behind the city stands a family defined by ruthless ambition and surgical efficiency, the Maktoums. They took a harsh environment and turned it into a desert empire. Before the 1800s, Dubai is nothing more than a nameless fishing village on the edge of an empty desert. The air is dry and full of salt. The sea brings pearls, but no fortune. The people live in huts of palm and mud, surviving on dates, fish, and the mercy of the tides. Far to the south, deep in the Liwa oasis, the Bani Yas tribe rules a small confederation of settlements. Life here depends on wells and camels, and the tribe's power rests on fragile alliances among its branches, the Al Bufala, who rule Abu Dhabi, and the Al Bufalasa, their cousins who will one day rule Dubai. For years they lived under the leadership of Sheikh Tanun bin Shakbut Al Nahyan, a cautious but respected ruler trying to keep peace between rival brothers. When Tanun dies in 1833, power passes to his brother Khalifa bin Shakbut, a man ambitious, suspicious, and eager to secure his throne. Within months, whispers of betrayal spread through the tribe. Some accuse Khalifa of plotting against his kin. Others claim his cousins conspire to replace him. In the desert, rumor is enough to start a war.
You have to understand, in those days, leadership wasn't secured by titles or armies. It was held together by loyalty and fear. When Khalifa took power, every brother, every cousin became a potential rival.
On a quiet evening in late 1833, Khalifa invites his rivals to a grand wedding feast in Liwa. It is meant to celebrate unity among the families, the Al Bufala, the Al Bufalasa, and the tribal elders. As the celebration reaches its height, the ruler gives his command. Swords are drawn. In moments, the feast turns into chaos. Dozens of Al Bufalasa men fall. Guests, many from the Al Bufalasa branch, are cut down inside the tents. The massacre shatters the fragile peace within the Bani Yas. It was a brutal turning point. What began as a wedding meant to unite the tribe ended up becoming a bloodbath. The massacre at Liwa left the Bani Yas tribe divided and broken. Many of the Al Bufalasa branch lost their families, their homes, and their faith in Abu Dhabi's rulers. Two cousins, Obaid bin Said and Maktoum bin Buti, refuse to submit. They decide to lead their people north. They gather a few hundred followers, pack their camels, and begin a long journey through the dunes. After weeks of travel, they reach the coast. There, they find a small creek that cuts through the sand and opens to the sea. On its banks stand a few huts of palm leaves, home to fishermen and pearl divers.
Obaid and Maktoum saw promise in this place. The creek could shelter boats. The nearby trade routes brought merchants from Oman and India. Here, no one ruled them. They built houses, dug wells, and welcomed traders.
Soon, people begin to call the settlement Dubai. But in the region, a powerful player already looms: the British East India Company. In the early 1800s, the British Empire is expanding its power across the seas. Through the East India Company, Britain controls much of India and wants to secure trade routes through the Arabian Gulf. The region is full of small ports, tribes, and rival sheikdoms. But the British seek only one thing: safe passage for their ships to India. To protect its trade routes, Britain extends its influence over the Arabian coast, forcing local rulers to obey its maritime laws. In 1819, Britain sent a fleet from India. The British Navy attacked Ras Al Khaimah, burning ships and forts and destroying the Qawasim fleet, one of the most powerful tribes in the region. The battle crushed their power and sent a clear message to every coastal ruler: resist and you will fall. For Dubai's new leaders, Maktoum bin Bouti and Obaid bin Said, the lesson is clear. No one challenges the might of the British Empire. In 1820, the region's rulers signed the General Maritime Treaty with Britain. It ends piracy, guarantees safe trade routes, and hands Britain control over foreign affairs.
For Dubai, it also brought a degree of security. Under British protection, ships could travel safely, and the small port began to attract merchants and traders seeking a peaceful harbor.
Maintaining peace with Britain, the Maktoum rulers governed simply. They settle disputes, collect modest taxes from traders, and allow freedom of commerce. By the late 1800s, Dubai has become a small but reliable port, surviving on pearling, fishing, and modest trade. But wealth drains toward rising ports like Linga and Bahrain, and the old system can no longer compete. Soon, a ruler will rise to break that stagnation and open Dubai to the world. His name is Sheikh Maktoum bin Hashir Al Maktoum. Sheikh Maktoum bin Hashir was born around 1878 into a family already shaping Dubai's early destiny. He is the grandson of Maktoum bin Bouti, the founder of the ruling line. From a young age, Maktoum grows up near the creek, watching ships arrive with goods from India, Persia, and East Africa.
He was known for being curious, disciplined, and unusually forward-thinking. While other children play, he listened to merchants talk about profit, taxes, and routes.
When his father passes away, Maktoum steps into power at the end of the 19th century. He is still young, but already respected by the merchant families.
Dubai at this time was small and poor compared to Bahrain and Linga. Sheikh Maktoum saw that trade was the only way to survive.
On one crisp evening, walking along the creek, Sheikh Maktoum watches ships turning away toward other ports with lower tariffs. That moment stays with him. He calls his advisors and declares that Dubai must do something bold: remove all taxes on trade. His idea is simple but radical for its time. In 1894, Sheikh Maktoum signs a decree abolishing customs duties. Traders, especially Persians fleeing heavy taxes, start arriving in numbers. Merchants find safety, low costs, and freedom to operate. The markets in Deira and Bur Dubai begin to grow, and Dubai becomes a magnet for commerce. Within years, the creek fills with cargo boats, and the town expands into a regional trading hub. Dubai changes quickly after the Freeport Revolution. With no trade taxes, merchants from across the Gulf begin to arrive. The creek fills with boats carrying goods from India, Persia, and East Africa. Small shops open in Deira, new homes rise from the sand, and the air fills with the noise of trade. For the first time, Dubai feels alive with purpose. Among the new arrivals are merchants from Bastak, a small town in southern Persia.
They were traders, builders, and craftsmen escaping high taxes and restrictions under the Qajar rulers. Sheikh Maktoum welcomed them, offering land along the southern bank of the creek.
There, they build wind tower houses and narrow streets that become known as Al-Bastakiya, a district that brings Persian architecture, trade networks, and capital into the heart of Dubai. Migration and trade have enriched Dubai. But now, a new kind of industry begins to rise. This time, it will come from the sea, from the glimmer of pearls hidden beneath the Gulf's calm waters. The pearl industry began quietly in the late 1800s, when fishermen started diving for oysters, not only for food, but for the treasures inside them.
The Gulf's shallow, warm waters were ideal for pearl oysters, so it didn't take long before diving turned from a seasonal job into a full-time lifestyle for thousands of men.
Every summer, hundreds of boats set out from Dubai Creek in search of pearls. Each boat carries a crew of divers, ropemen, and traders. The divers work from sunrise to sunset, using only nose clips, stone weights, and baskets tied to their belts. They dive dozens of times a day, holding their breath for nearly a minute each time. By the early 1900s, pearling becomes the backbone of Dubai's economy, providing most of its income and employment. The boom turns Dubai into a busy, wealthy port. But the glory will not last. Across the world, a new kind of pearl, one made by science, is being created. And it will come from an unexpected place: Japan. In the early 1900s, a man named Kokichi Mikimoto experiments with ways to grow pearls artificially. He and a group of scientists discover that if they place a small bead and a piece of oyster tissue inside a live oyster, the creature coats it with nacre, creating a perfect pearl. The process takes months, but the results are astonishing. By 1916, Japan begins producing cultured pearls that look identical to natural ones, but at a fraction of the cost. When these new pearls reach the world markets, buyers can no longer tell the difference. Merchants in Bombay and Paris start choosing the cheaper Japanese product. Within a few years, the price of natural pearls collapses. The Gulf's traders, who have relied on this one industry for generations, see their wealth disappear almost overnight. In Dubai, the impact is devastating. Ships stay docked, divers lose work, and many families fall into debt. Pearls that once defined its glory now sit unsold in wooden boxes.
It's wild when you think about it. One tiny bead inside an oyster completely changed history. Almost overnight, something that powered economies and traditions for centuries just collapsed.
The city that once floated on pearls now drifts without direction. And soon, a political storm will erupt that will challenge Maktoum's family rule itself. The collapse of the pearling industry leaves Dubai in ruin. The markets once filled with pearls and traders now stand half empty. Many families lose their income and debts pile up. The sheikh's treasury dries up, and even the merchant elite begin to struggle. And that struggle will soon erupt into a movement. A group of powerful merchants, frustrated by mismanagement and economic collapse, gather to demand change.
They call for a majlis, or council, to help the ruler make decisions about spending, trade, and taxation. Many are close allies of the ruling family.
At first, Sheikh Said agrees. The majlis meets, debates, and drafts policies. For a moment, it seems like Dubai is entering a new era, one where authority is shared and decisions are guided by reason, not tradition. But quickly, the movement overreaches. The council begins to challenge the ruler's control of taxes and contracts. Rumors spread that they want to limit the sheikh's power entirely. If this continues, it will challenge the very foundation of Maktoum's rule in Dubai. By late 1938, Dubai is split in two. Sheikh Said and his loyal Bedouins control Bur Dubai, while the reformists fortify Dera across the creek. In March 1939, during the wedding of Sheikh Rashid bin Said Al Maktoum, meant to symbolize peace and unity, tragedy strikes again. Gunfire erupts at the wedding. Hasher bin Rashid, the Majlis leader, is shot dead, along with his son and several reformist allies.
Yes, that was a second massacre in a wedding. So make sure you never go to a wedding in Dubai.
By dawn, the Majlis is gone. The reformers are exiled or executed. Sheikh Said remains in power, his rule preserved by force and British approval. By the 1930s and 1940s, Sheikh Said bin Maktoum still rules Dubai, but the economy remains weak. The collapse of the pearl trade has drained the city's wealth. Meanwhile, the world is changing. Across the region, oil is discovered, first in Bahrain in 1932, then in Kuwait in 1938, and finally in Saudi Arabia in 1938. Black gold, as it is called, begins to replace pearls as the new measure of wealth. In 1937, Dubai signs its first oil concession with the Petroleum Concessions Limited, a subsidiary of the Anglo-Persian Oil Company.
The deal gives the company rights to explore and drill across the emirate in exchange for payments to the ruler.
British engineers arrive, bringing survey maps, drilling rigs, and new hope. People begin to dream that Dubai will soon join its wealthy neighbors. But nature has other plans. Geologists find the rock formations beneath Dubai too shallow and fragmented. In 1940, test wells near Jebel Ali and Margam yield nothing but brackish water. By the mid-1940s, the oil rush has passed Dubai by. Bahrain, Kuwait, and Saudi Arabia are booming, while Dubai still trades fish and dates. Despite finding no oil, Dubai's fate is about to change. A young visionary will rise up, and he will soon craft a bold plan that transforms the city's destiny forever. Sheikh Rashid bin Saeed Al Maktoum was born in 1912, the son of Sheikh Saeed bin Maktoum, the ruler who guided Dubai through the difficult years of hunger and decline. Rashid grew up near the creek, watching traders come and go, hearing stories of lost fortunes from the pearl days.
From a young age, he was quiet, thoughtful, and observant. He studied under local scholars, but his real education came from walking the markets and speaking with merchants.
When his father's health begins to fade in the late 1930s, Rashid starts taking on more responsibility. He advises on trade, mediates disputes, and builds relationships with foreign merchants and British officials. When his father dies in 1958, Rashid takes the throne with a calm confidence. He inherits a city poor in money, but rich in potential. And he is about to unleash the potential and leave his marks on Dubai's history. By the late 1950s, Sheikh Rashid bin Saeed Al Maktoum faces a serious problem. The Dubai Creek, the lifeline of trade and commerce, is silting up.
Larger ships can no longer enter, forcing traders to unload their cargo in Bahrain or Kuwait. Merchants warn that if the creek closes, Dubai will lose everything.
Rashid decides he must act, and act boldly, or Dubai's economy will face its biggest decline in recent history. In 1959, he launches what becomes known as the dredging gamble. With no oil revenue and little cash, Rashid borrows £400,000 from Kuwait, a huge sum for the time, to fund the dredging. The project is led by British engineers using mechanical dredgers to deepen and widen the creek from its mouth near the Gulf to the markets of Dera and Bur Dubai. The work takes about 2 years, removing thousands of tons of silt and mud. When complete, the channel is wide enough for large trading vessels to enter and dock directly at the city's heart.
The impact was instant. Trades took off, merchants began to come back, and ships were lining up again. And suddenly, Dubai was the busiest port anywhere between Muscat and Bahrain.
The gamble pays off. By 1960, the dredged creek turns into Dubai's commercial artery, drawing ships, merchants, and fortune seekers from across the Gulf back to its bustling shores. Dubai becomes a haven for merchants, but it will soon become a gateway for a much more secretive trade. A new kind of empire is quietly taking shape in the shadows. In 1960, the dredging of the creek turned Dubai into a perfect transit point between the Middle East and South Asia. At the same time, India, facing a shortage of foreign currency, bans gold imports in 1962 to protect its reserves.
For a lot of Indians, gold wasn't just decoration. It was an insurance, a safe way to protect wealth when money, banks, and even governments were uncertain.
Dubai's merchants see it first Using its free trade policy and light regulations, they begin importing gold legally from London, Switzerland, and Beirut, then secretly shipping it across the Arabian Sea to India. Small wooden dhows, known as launches, carry bars of gold hidden under sacks of dates and cloth. Once near India's western coast, the gold is offloaded under cover of night and sold through smuggling networks in Bombay and Kerala. By the late 1960s, Dubai becomes known as the City of Gold. The trade brings massive profits.
Some estimates suggest over 100 to 200 tons of gold pass through Dubai each year, much of it bound for India.
The boom revives Dubai's economy, fills its markets, and gives the city global recognition as a hub of risk and reward. By the late 1960s, Dubai has turned itself into a thriving hub of trade. But its protector, Britain, is weakening. As the old guard retreats, a vacuum opens. What comes next will change everything.
The British government announced today that it would withdraw entirely from Aden and South Arabia during the second half of this month.
By the late 1960s, the British Empire is shrinking. Its power in the Gulf, once unquestioned, begins to fade as London faces economic troubles at home. In 1968, Britain announces that it will withdraw its military forces from the region by 1971, leaving the small trucial states, including Dubai, Abu Dhabi, and Sharjah, without protection.
These tiny Gulf states had no armies, no infrastructure, nothing. So without unity or a protector, they risked being overrun or forgotten in the rapidly changing world.
In Abu Dhabi, Sheikh Zayed bin Sultan Al Nahyan moves quickly. Wealthy from oil and known for his vision, he believes unity is the only path forward. He reaches out to Sheikh Rashid bin Saeed Al Maktoum of Dubai, whose city thrives on trade but lacks oil and defense. In February 1968, the two men meet at Argub el Sadira, a lonely patch of desert between their territories. There, in a simple tent, they agree to form a new federation, a union of equals built on cooperation, not domination. Over the next 3 years, the idea grows. Other emirates, Sharjah, Ajman, Al-Quwain, Fujairah, and later Ras Al Khaimah, joined the talks. After long debates over leadership, currency, and military control, an agreement is reached.
The rulers of 9 Persian Gulf sheikdoms agreed early today on a provisional organization of the federation they formed last February.
On December 2nd, 1971, the United Arab Emirates is born. Sheikh Zayed becomes the first president. Sheikh Rashid serves as vice president and prime minister. As Sheikh Rashid shapes the union of the Emirates, fate delivers a gift long awaited. A discovery so powerful, it will redefine Dubai's place within the newborn federation. For decades, Dubai searches for oil while watching its neighbors grow rich.
Since the first drilling attempts in the 1940s near Jebel Ali, Margam, and Jumeirah, every effort ends in disappointment. Abu Dhabi strikes oil in 1958, Qatar in 1940, and Kuwait long before that.
Sheikh Rashid never gives up. He believes oil must be there, somewhere beneath the Gulf. In 1966, after years of frustration, Dubai signs a new exploration deal with Continental Oil Company, Conoco. The company sends survey ships into the offshore Fateh field, 35 miles from the coast. The first tests show promise. Then, in September 1966, after months of drilling at the Fateh No. 1 well, oil finally gushes from the seabed. Thick, black, and unmistakable. For the first time in Dubai's history, the search is over.
The Continental Oil Company announced yesterday that a subsidiary, the Dubai Petroleum Company, also the operator for a group of companies of a concession in the Persian Gulf off the coast of Dubai, had found oil, apparently in commercial quantities.
Production begins 2 years later. In 1969, the first shipment of crude oil leaves the Fateh offshore field on tankers bound for Japan. The volume is modest compared to Abu Dhabi's vast reserves, but for Dubai, it changes everything. By 1969, exports from the Fateh offshore field begin, and oil money, roughly $30 million a year in those early days, starts flowing into Sheikh Rashid's treasury. For the first time, Dubai has the means to build, not just to survive. Roads, schools, power plants, and housing rise across the city. The skyline begins to shift from sand to steel. Sheikh Rashid moves fast. In 1972, he begins construction of Port Rashid, Dubai's first deepwater harbor, capable of handling large ocean ships. The port opens in 1976 with 5 berths, soon expanding to 35. It turns Dubai into one of the Gulf's busiest shipping centers. Around the same time, the World Trade Center project begins, a 39-story skyscraper completed in 1978. Once the tallest building in the Middle East, it becomes a symbol of Rashid's vision, a vertical dream, proving that Dubai can rise as high as it dares.
Sheikh Rashid had this rare mix of humility and obsession. He wasn't chasing luxury, he was chasing systems. He saw ports and towers not as vanity projects, but as engines that could make Dubai self-sufficient forever.
But Sheikh Rashid's ambitions reach even further. In 1979, he launches Jebel Ali Port, 35 kilometers southwest of the city, the largest man-made harbor in the world. Completed in 1985, it features 67 berths and a massive industrial area. The world begins to take notice. Ships from every continent dock at Dubai's ports. By the mid-1980s, Dubai is no longer a small emirate. It is a rising metropolis, fueled by oil but driven by vision. Yet Sheikh Rashid understands what others ignore. Oil is temporary, but trade is eternal. In Dubai, leadership works more like a corporation than a democracy. You get selected because you're competent. It took planning, math, logistics, and real technical skill. Which is why today, more than ever, knowledge is the foundation of nation building. These are the exact kinds of skills our sponsor, Brilliant, helps you build. Brilliant is an interactive learning platform built for thinkers and builders. It turns tough subjects, math, computer science, data analysis, even AI, into bite-sized, hands-on lessons that actually make sense.
To this world where everything is so complicated, it is so beneficial to learn the essentials of data analysis and AI.
You start with the basics, and step by step, it guides you into deeper, more challenging problem solving that actually sticks. This isn't trivia learning or 5-minute hacks. It's real understanding. Whether you want to break down the math behind markets, sharpen your problem-solving instincts, or explore how AI learns, Brilliant gives you the tools to think like an engineer and act like a leader. To try everything Brilliant has to offer for free, visit brilliant.org/Phineas or click on the link in the description. You'll also get 20% off an annual premium subscription, which gives you unlimited daily access to everything on Brilliant. By the mid-1980s, Sheikh Rashid's health is fading, and a new figure is stepping into command. Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, his third son and Minister of Defense since 1971, sees that oil revenues are flattening and that Dubai must again reinvent itself. They both know Dubai needs a new way to attract money, people, and trade. From this challenge, they conceive their boldest idea yet: a city within a city, free from taxes and restrictions, a free zone. In 1985, that vision becomes reality with the creation of the Jebel Ali Free Zone, established alongside the massive Jebel Ali port.
It was unheard of back then. A place in the Middle East where foreign companies could own everything, pay no taxes, and move goods freely. Jebel Ali rewrote the rulebook for how business could be done in the region.
And soon, the world takes notice. Companies from Japan, Germany, Britain, and the United States rush to register. By the end of the decade, over 300 firms operate in Jafsa, making it one of the fastest-growing trade zones on Earth.
That's really the turning point. The moment Dubai stopped being an oil story. From then on, it became a business city built on openness, ambition, and pure entrepreneurial energy.
By the late 1980s, Sheikh Rashid bin Zayed Al Maktoum is in declining health. Decades of tireless leadership have taken their toll. His long illness gradually weakens him, and on October 7, 1990, Sheikh Rashid passes away at the age of 78.
Sheikh Rashid bin Zayed Al Maktoum, co-founder of the United Arab Emirates and ruler of Dubai, died today, the state television announced. Reference works say he was born in 1914, but a family member said he was 84 years old.
In the wake of his passing, his eldest son, Sheikh Maktoum bin Rashid Al Maktoum, ascends as the new ruler of Dubai. Reserved and deliberate, Maktoum has spent years at his father's side, learning patience and diplomacy. His younger brother, Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, long serving as Minister of Defense and the architect behind Jebel Ali and the Free Zone Revolution, now steps forward as Dubai's chief strategist and visionary. Together, they carry forward Sheikh Rashid's legacy, but with far greater ambition. After Sheikh Rashid's death in 1990, Sheikh Mohammed, now the driving force, envisions Dubai not just as a regional hub, but as a global city. The focus shifts from trade and ports to image and infrastructure.
Sheikh Mohammed wanted Dubai to compete with New York, London, and Singapore, not just regionally, but globally. He believed infrastructure itself could replace oil, that airports, ports, and skyscrapers could generate endless wealth.
To do that, he turns to leverage and ingenuity.
Dubai's playbook was simple: borrow big, build fast, and use the rising property prices to fund the next project. For a while, it worked like magic.
The skyline transforms almost overnight. Burj Al Arab, completed in 1999, rises like a sail over the sea, redefining Dubai's image. Emirates Airline expands across continents, turning the city into an aviation crossroads. In 2002, Sheikh Mohammed unveils Palm Jumeirah, the world's largest artificial island, followed by the even more audacious the World Islands. The Dubai International Financial Center, DIFC, opens in 2004, attracting banks from New York and London. Dubai Mall, Burj Khalifa, and downtown Dubai break ground soon after, monuments to wealth, ambition, and belief in the impossible. By 2008, Dubai becomes the symbol of the 21st century's boom. The expansion runs on debt. Government entities like Dubai World, Nakheel, and Dubai Holding borrow tens of billions through international markets. But eventually, the debt will come due. And when it does, the timing will be catastrophic for Dubai.
It was the worst day on Wall Street since the crash of 1987.
Traders here working the phone say a lot of their customers are freaked out, waiting to see how low the Dow will go. They're focused on the Dow, not so focused on OPEC. Yes, OPEC did cut production by 1.5 million barrels per day.
The heightened financial turmoil that we have experienced of late may well lengthen the period of weak economic performance and further increase the risk to growth.
When Lehman Brothers fails in September 2008, credit markets freeze, and the shock ripples through the global economy. Within months, the crisis spreads from New York to London, Asia, and the Gulf. Dubai World is a state-owned investment company at the heart of Dubai's breakneck transformation. By 2009, it announces it cannot repay its $26 billion debt. It is a dire situation.
The Dubai Financial Market General Index slid 6.1% Tuesday to a 5-month low as concern deepened about Dubai World's ability to restructure its staggering debt. The index has tumbled 22% since the restructuring was announced November 25.
Construction halted. Thousands of expatriates left the city. Luxury cars were abandoned at Dubai International Airport by workers fleeing debt. If Dubai doesn't get an urgent capital injection, the city's financial system will collapse.
For Sheikh Mohammed, it is more than a crisis, it's personal. One misstep could erase everything his father and grandfather built, turning Dubai's miracle into a disaster. Then, in December 2009, salvation arrives. Abu Dhabi, led by Sheikh Khalifa bin Zayed Al Nahyan, delivers a $10 billion bailout through the UAE Central Bank.
Dubai got a $10 billion lifeline from oil-rich Abu Dhabi to save one of its prize companies from imminent default Monday, calming fears for now about the city-state's shaky finances. Dubai's main stock market spiked more than 10% on the news.
The bailout saves the city. Debts are restructured, confidence slowly returns, and construction resumes on critical projects. As a gesture of gratitude, when the world's tallest building opens in January 2010, it bears not the name Burj Dubai, but Burj Khalifa, a towering thank you carved into the skyline. After the financial crisis of 2008 to 2009, Dubai begins a slow but deliberate recovery. Property prices have fallen by half, and investor confidence is shaken. In this new phase, Dubai's Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum envisions a project that will symbolize rebirth, the Dubai 2040 Urban Master Plan.
Dubai 2040 Urban Master Plan is a visionary initiative that will shape the future of Dubai. The main goal of the plan includes updating key areas of Dubai like Deira and Bar Dubai, Downtown and Business Bay, Dubai Marina and JBR, Expo 2020 Center, and Dubai Silicon Oasis.
For Sheikh Mohammed, this isn't just urban planning, it's a blueprint for global relevance. A statement that Dubai is not finished, it's just getting started. Since 2015, Dubai has entered a new era of confidence and transformation. Even after the pandemic, Dubai rebounded fast, foreign investment surged, and property values rose more than 75% between 2021 and 2023. Today, oil contributes less than 1% of Dubai's GDP, while non-oil sectors dominate. The population has surpassed 3.6 million, with expatriates making up over 85%. Revenues from tourism and re-exports continue to rise, and Dubai International Airport remains one of the world's busiest for international passengers.
When you really look back, Dubai's secret isn't luck or oil, it's leadership. Sheikh Rashid built from nothing, Sheikh Mohammed turned crises into opportunity. Every generation treated limits like a blueprint, not a barrier.
The Maktoums played the long game. While other places in the region got caught up in politics or oil, Dubai just kept on building. That mix of discipline and bold risk-taking is what turned a small emirate into a global force.
Whatever challenges lie ahead, Dubai is a city that will endure.